The cheers of the crowd, the crack of the bat, the roar of victory, these are the sounds that echo through baseball history. But sometimes history whispers of darker tales, of dreams shattered and lives cut short. Today, we delve into one of the most shocking and tragically overlooked stories in the game, the life and death of Sammy Younge Jr., an all-star baseball talent whose pursuit of justice led to his brutal murder, a murder that remains a chilling stain on American history. Imagine a rising star with the world at his feet, making a courageous stand, only to be silenced forever by the very system he sought to improve. This is not just a baseball story. It's a story of courage, injustice, and a powerful reminder of the long fight for civil rights. This is the story of Sammy Younge Jr. Our story begins not on a ball field, but in the vibrant, yet segregated landscape of Tuskegee, Alabama. Born on June 22, 1944, Samuel Lee Younge Jr. was destined for greatness. Even as a child, it was clear Sammy possessed a rare gift for baseball. His natural athleticism and keen eye for the ball were apparent from a young age. He wasn't just good, he was exceptionally good, a prodigy drawing attention even before he entered his teenage years. Tuskegee, while known for its historic institute, was still deeply entrenched in the Jim Crow South. Segregation was a harsh reality, impacting every facet of life for its African-American residents. Yet within this environment, Sammy's talent flourished. He played for the Tuskegee High School team, where his exploits on the diamond quickly made him a local legend. He was a prodigious hitter, a swift runner, and a fearless fielder. The whispers of his potential spread far beyond the town limits. By the time he was a senior in high school, Sammy had already attracted the attention of professional scouts. His senior year, 1963, was nothing short of spectacular. He batted an astounding .550, a truly remarkable statistic that showcased his dominance. It was clear Sammy Younge Jr. was destined for the major leagues. The dream of seeing an African-American from Tuskegee play amongst baseball's elite was no longer a distant fantasy. It was a tangible possibility. The path to professional baseball for black players was still a thorny one, even in the post-Jackie Robinson era. While Jackie had broken the color barrier in 1947, systemic racism and ingrained prejudice continued to present significant hurdles. For Sammy, the challenges were compounded by his commitment to his community and his burgeoning awareness of the injustices around him. He was not content to simply be a baseball player. He was a young man who saw the world and recognized its imperfections. Despite the racial climate, Sammy's talent was undeniable. In 1962, he signed a professional contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers. This was a monumental achievement, a testament to his extraordinary abilities. He was assigned to the Class D Pocomoke City Dodgers in the Eastern Shore League. This was his first taste of professional baseball, the first step on a journey that promised glory and opportunity. He was just 18 years old, a boy thrust into the adult world of professional sports. The transition was not without its difficulties. Playing in the minor leagues in the 1960s meant facing segregation, unequal facilities, and the constant grinding prejudice that was an unfortunate backdrop to many black athletes' careers. Yet Sammy persevered. His impressive hitting prowess continued to shine. In that 1962 season, he played in 38 games, hitting .292, a solid start for a young player. He showed flashes of the power and contact hitting that would define his career. His star continued to rise through the Dodgers farm system. In 1963, he moved up to the Class A Santa Cruz Dodgers, where he further honed his skills. He played in 122 games, hitting a respectable .279 and showing increased power with 11 home runs. He was developing into a well-rounded player, a prospect that had the Dodgers organization buzzing. He was on track, the scouts agreed, to reach the major leagues within a few short years. But Sammy Younge Jr. was more than just a baseball player with a bright future. He was a young man with a keen intellect and a deep sense of justice. His experiences in the segregated South, coupled with his growing understanding of the civil rights movement, shaped his worldview. He saw the hypocrisy of a nation that celebrated athletic achievement while denying basic human rights to its black citizens. He couldn't simply ignore the injustices he witnessed daily. While his baseball career demanded his attention, Sammy's heart was also with the struggle for equality. He was passionate about the disenfranchisement of black voters in the South. The right to vote was a cornerstone of democracy, and its denial to vast segments of the population was a source of immense frustration and anger. Sammy believed that every citizen, regardless of race, deserved a voice in their government. The year 1964 was a pivotal time in the civil rights movement. The Civil Rights Act had been signed into law, but the fight for voting rights was far from over, especially in the Deep South. Many black citizens were still facing intimidation, poll taxes, and outright violence when they attempted to register to vote. Alabama, in particular, was a hotbed of resistance to desegregation and black enfranchisement. Sammy, aware of these realities, felt a personal obligation to act. He returned to his hometown of Tuskegee, where the local registrar was notoriously difficult, often employing unfair tactics to prevent black citizens from registering. Sammy, intelligent and articulate, decided to confront this injustice head-on. He understood the risks, but he believed it was a battle worth fighting. On January 3, 1964, Sammy Younge Jr. went to the Tuskegee courthouse to register to vote. He was joined by other black citizens who were also seeking to exercise their fundamental right. However, the atmosphere was tense. The registrar, along with white onlookers and law enforcement, was hostile and unyielding. When Sammy, with his characteristic determination, insisted on his right to register, the situation escalated. Accounts differ on the exact sequence of events, but it is clear that a confrontation ensued. Sammy, though physically imposing, was not a violent man. He was a man of principle. He stood his ground, refusing to be deterred by intimidation. It was during this confrontation that the unthinkable happened. A white law enforcement officer, Deputy Sheriff Leon Mims, drew his weapon. In the ensuing chaos, Sammy Younge Jr. was shot. He was shot in the neck, a devastating wound that would prove fatal. He was just 19 years old, a bright star extinguished far too soon. His life, filled with the promise of athletic achievement and social progress, was brutally cut short. The murder of Sammy Younge Jr. sent shockwaves through the community and beyond. It was a stark, brutal reminder of the dangers faced by those who dared to challenge the status quo in the Jim Crow South. His death was not a random act of violence. It was a direct consequence of his courageous attempt to vote. The narrative surrounding his death was immediately contested. While some claimed it was a tragic accident stemming from Sammy's alleged refusal to comply, it was clear to many that his only offense was demanding his right to vote. The incident ignited outrage, particularly among those actively involved in the civil rights movement. Sammy's dream of a just society had, in a tragic twist of fate, become the very reason for his demise. The investigation that followed was fraught with bias. The prevailing sentiment in the local justice system was not to investigate the actions of the shooter, but to justify them. Sammy, the victim, was subtly, and not so subtly, portrayed as the aggressor. This was a common tactic used to silence and discredit civil rights activists and those who challenged racial inequality. The news of Sammy's death spread like wildfire, particularly within the baseball community. His teammates, coaches, and the Dodgers organization were devastated. They had seen his talent, his potential, and his promising future. Now that future was gone, stolen by the very ugliness he was fighting against. Many felt a profound sense of loss, not just for a gifted athlete, but for a young man who stood for something greater. The tragedy brought into sharp focus the inherent dangers faced by black athletes who dared to engage in activism. While Jackie Robinson had paved the way, the path remained perilous. Sammy's death served as a chilling reminder that the color of one's skin could still make them a target, even for exercising fundamental democratic rights. The incident also drew the attention of national civil rights organizations. They recognized Sammy's death as a potent symbol of the ongoing struggle for voting rights. His story became a rallying cry, a tragic testament to the sacrifices being made in the fight for equality. His murder was not just a personal tragedy, it was a political act. Despite the prevailing narrative and the difficulties in achieving justice, there were those who sought to honor Sammy's memory. They remembered him not for his tragic end, but for his courage, his talent, and his commitment to his principles. His legacy, they argued, should be one of inspiration, not just sorrow. The irony of his death was profound. He was a man of discipline and skill on the baseball field, a sport that often symbolized the melting pot of America. Yet on the courthouse steps, seeking the most basic right of citizenship, he was met with violence and death. His passion for the game was undeniable, but his passion for justice was equally, if not more, potent. The legal proceedings surrounding Sammy's death were a miscarriage of justice. Deputy Sheriff Leon Mims was ultimately acquitted of any wrongdoing. The system, designed to protect its citizens, had failed Sammy Younge Jr. miserably. To many, this acquittal was proof that justice was not blind when it came to race in the Deep South. It was a devastating blow to the hope of a more equitable future. The lack of accountability for his death became a symbol of the systemic racism that permeated America at the time. It was a painful lesson for many, a stark demonstration of how deeply ingrained prejudice could lead to the dismissal of a human life. This outcome was not unique. It was tragically common for black individuals seeking justice in the prejudiced courts of the South. Sammy's baseball career, though tragically cut short, was not entirely forgotten. His memory lived on in the hearts of those who knew him, and in the stories of those who were inspired by his courage. He represented a generation of young black men who dreamed of athletic success while simultaneously fighting for a more just world. His potential was a phantom, a ghost of what might have been, forever enshrined in the annals of what-ifs. The impact of Sammy's death on the civil rights movement cannot be overstated. It highlighted the brutal realities of the fight for voting rights and galvanized activists to redouble their efforts. His story became a poignant example of the everyday bravery required to challenge racial oppression. He became a martyr for the cause, a symbol of sacrifice in the pursuit of a fundamental human right. The passage of time has not erased the injustice of Sammy Younge Jr.'s murder. His story, however, has often been relegated to the footnotes of baseball history and civil rights chronicles. It is a story that deserves to be told, to be remembered, and to serve as a constant reminder of the battles fought and the sacrifices made. His name deserves to be spoken with reverence, not just as a promising ballplayer, but as a courageous citizen who paid the ultimate price for demanding his rights. The legacy of Sammy Younge Jr. is a complex one. It is a legacy of athletic brilliance that was extinguished, but it is also a legacy of unwavering courage in the face of oppression. He was a talented young man on the cusp of a professional career, dreaming of striking out the competition on the diamond. But he was also a bold young man, dreaming of striking out injustice in the hearts of men. His life, though brief, was a testament to the power of conviction. He refused to be a silent observer in a world that denied him and his people basic dignity. He stood up, he spoke out, and he paid the ultimate price. His story is a crucial thread in the tapestry of American history, a reminder that the pursuit of equality often comes with immense personal cost. The echoes of his life resonate through the modern game of baseball. Every time a black player steps onto the field, they stand on the shoulders of giants like Sammy Younge Jr., individuals who risked everything for the opportunity to play, to be recognized, and to be treated with respect. His name might not be as widely recognized as some, but his sacrifice is as significant as any. Sammy Younge Jr. was an all-star in the making, a young man with the world at his fingertips. But on that fateful day in 1964, he traded the crack of the bat for the deafening blast of a gunshot, a sound that echoed the injustice of a nation grappling with its conscience. His pursuit of the vote, the most fundamental right of citizenship, led to his extermination. The talent was undeniable, the potential immense, but it was his courage to demand what was rightfully his that sealed his tragic fate. Sammy Younge Jr. was murdered for voting, a stark and brutal testament to the long, bloody fight for equality. A fight whose echoes still reverberate today, reminding us that the pursuit of justice is a game that is never truly over.